Hello everybody, I'm L.A. Little and this is today's daily NeoTA wrap. Where we take a look at these markets, we do it from a neoclassical perspective. Each time we look to see what happened today and what it might tell us about the coming ones. We do the show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday, broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube under the channel L.A. Little. You can also get a weekly show. I do that on Sunday evenings. So if you want to scroll through some of those and get a little broader perspective, which is not a bad thing in this particular market. And as far as the market, what happened today? Well, it was mostly up, although it was muted. Up more than this, sold off towards the end of the day, couldn't hold its gains. Dollar reversed, was down. Actually, the dollar was up, then down, then up again as the currencies were moving the markets. Bonds sold off pretty heavy today. Gold and silver reversed from a fairly large gain. Buys up about 10, 11 bucks on gold, I believe. Ends down slightly. If we look at the markets and we try to see what's going on, well, the story here, in my opinion, is that this market wants to try to work higher tomorrow. And it's a subtle set of signals, but there's signals throughout most of the charts. And so what I want you to look at as I flip through some of these charts is what happened the last two bars. You had volume on Friday, no volume today. In each of them, they undercut it, they're back over it. They're still inside the big bar, so we don't have a big signal yet. In other words, when you see this market break, one side or the other off this bar, that's when you'll get a little bit more movement. But until that happens, this market's just going to hang. And right now it's hanging. But the subtle sign inside that big bar, and that was last week's Tuesday bar, right? We were off Memorial Day. The subtle sign inside, as you go under, you go back over, you have a little, well, in some cases, a lot less volume. And that is saying this thing's going to try to push back up again tomorrow. Let's look at these other indexes with that in mind. Here's the NASDAQ. You're going to see the same pattern, under, back over. It's going to try to push out the top. And that's the strongest sector right now, or shall I say the strongest index. Same thing with the NDX. Going up, going to try to push higher tomorrow. And even the Russell did about the same thing, under, back over, less volume. If we look at the sectors, right, on the sectors you're seeing kind of the same setup as well there. And when you start seeing it across most of what you're looking at, then you start thinking to yourself, okay, this is going to really try to do something to that direction, because they're all signaling the same thing. Here's the IBB. If we look at the SOX, now the SOX has been the strongest with all the M&A. The SOX actually didn't, I don't think it actually got under today. Maybe it did. Yeah, it did by a penny. Same thing, right? Under, back over, less volume. The weakest ones, here's the XLB. Now the XLB tested the low, had more volume, so that one not nearly as clean. That one can actually trade lower. XLE was inside, didn't really do anything. But then we go over and look at the XLF. XLF trades under that bar, back over, and holds it. And we're talking about the breakdown bar now, not Friday. So Friday went under, back over, held. Today, back under, over, held. XLI, remember Friday it was weak. Today it goes under, back over, less volume, holds. XLK, test under, back over, less volume, holds. You just go right down the list. And then to boot, it's not just here, it's overseas as well. So if I pop over to the overseas markets and start looking at some of these, and we'll start with France. France goes under, back over, holds, less volume, right? Kind of a doji. If we look at the DAX, DAX does the same thing. So you have the same pattern in Europe as you have here. I suspect this is telling us tomorrow they're going to find strength, or at least try to. If we look in Asia, which is going to be the story tonight, Nikkei held up, less volume. I still think that thing's going to try to pull back. Shanghai is the story. Shanghai was up 5% today, overnight, 4.69. Going back in to try to get to the top. My suspicion is that was the top of what is going to be a range. As you come back up, it's going to try to test back up into that. It may get up there tonight. It may just kind of slowly crawl up there the next couple days. But Shanghai is the story, the one you want to watch in the coming days. If you look at some of the others there, you know, Taiwan really can't get anything going. If I look over at the Hang Seng in Hong Kong, that one also can't get much going. It really was Shanghai last night in Asia, and Shanghai is the one to really keep your eye on. So in a very quick show tonight, I've given you already what's happening. And what's happening is some subtle signs that we're going to try to find some strength tomorrow. We've got a lot more data. We've got the Greek question out there. I don't know that even if we do find that strength and if we break over that breakdown bar, I still don't think that's going to do much for this market. It's just that tomorrow this thing is going to try to rise from what it looks like given the signals tonight. The big test is the top of the breakdown bar from Tuesday last week. Folks, that's a quick one tonight. I'm going to leave it at that. Have yourself a great one. Take care. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.